All right, we're here with Randy. How you doing?
I'm good.
We are in Falls Church, Virginia, right outside of DC, and getting ready and excited for the Neal Morse Band show tonight. One of my favorite bands for many years. So, how you doing?
I'm good.
Getting relaxed from the New York show last night?
Yeah.
Had a good turnout. I hear, and all people online are saying all kinds of how great it was and all that. So
Good. It was a good show. We really enjoyed that audience, and they're a good audience. They sold it out, so
great.
Very happy.
Well, I had a couple questions here. I actually posted online yesterday, just asking some people if they had any questions that they wanted to ask them, just to get some other input and stuff. And got some responses, but I was just curious, and hopefully you'll know a little bit about the behind the scenes stuff. But okay, so you're like 2 weeks into this tour now. Everything that you all had planned to do, has it all fallen into place, or have you found anything had to be tweaked or taken out, or set list changes or things like that that didn't quite work once you got out on the road?
Okay, well that's a broad range of
Yeah.
possibilities. Anytime you undertake a tour of this size, there's always things you have to be prepared to make adjustments for, because you never know what you're going to run into. Sometimes you roll in later than you want to. Sometimes the venue isn't what you expected. So there's always things that you have to do that to get through it. But for the most part, it's gone pretty quick. I think my biggest relief is that we got through this far without hitting any major weather. See, I was afraid that a blizzard could strand us somewhere, and we just barely escaped one in Cleveland. But for the most part, we've managed to be able to get to every city without too much difficulty. But there's always issues, bus issues, sometimes it needs repairs. As far as the show goes, the show's been going real good. The similitude portion of the show is pretty consistent. But the encores, we have 4 songs, and we've been trying them in different combinations at different lengths, just depending on whether we have to cut the show a little short if it's running late or whatever.
So the show is, what I'm hearing, it is the whole album, right?
Yes.
And then you have encores.
Yeah, the whole album presented in 2 sections with an intermission, and then a few songs for an encore, which we've been, like I said, working with 4 different songs in different combinations of 2
I've heard Agenda is going to be in there possibly, and Altar of Confusion, and The Call. I only heard those 3. What's the 4th one?
A Momentum.
Oh, okay. Somebody did mention that. They said something. I thought they were talking about the album when they said something, but
The song.
because they were asking about. People were saying, some of the people in the forum were saying, what did they play at your show? What did they play at your show? And, I didn't get to hear Agenda or whatever, whatever they were. And
We
wishing
tried
for
different things. Yeah, it's been kind of one of those things where there's no particular one that we found is better than another. I think we just sort of make those calls on the fly. Yeah.
You have such a big catalog to draw from. So now, I've seen some of the pictures of the costumes and stuff that are being used on this time around. Now, when, and maybe Neal knows more about this, but I think as a band you all probably discussed it. When the whole concept of the album was being brought together, was that ever in the picture of thought, like maybe we should do costumes, or did that come later?
That came at the last second after I had already put my wardrobe together.
Oh, do you wear a costume?
Well, we all have our stage wear.
Yeah.
But it was just, 4 or 5 days before we left out to rehearsals that Neal came up with this idea of trying to dress thematically and maybe use some possible props or just a certain look that we were thinking about. And so, yeah, we all scrambled and came up with some things.
I bet you that probably stems from the fact, when I talked to him in the interview a couple months ago, he had mentioned how one of his dreams would be to do one of his stage productions. One of his, he's written those things, those different like plays, and he's always wanted to do that. So I bet he's still trying to scramble for getting some of that in there. So, and I understood somebody had mentioned, I guess, back in the Spock's Beard days, he did some of the costumes. Is that kind of where he's drawn from still?
I'm not aware that he ever
I
worked
could
in
remember,
costumes in Spock's Beard. He just had a lot of hair, long hair.
Yeah.
But there wasn't any costumes.
There's somebody had mentioned just in the forum, and I was like, I don't remember that either. Like,
Yeah.
in any concerts I've seen, but it was like one song they were saying, That was one of the people that told me it was something to ask, and I'm like, I don't remember doing any costumes back then, but, but everything I've been seeing, I've been watching the forums, and after every show, people are saying how it's like the greatest show they've ever seen. I'm just amazed at how many people just totally are blown away by the show, so I'm looking forward to it for sure. The album, of course, has continued to get rave reviews. It's the greatest album, and that's been said all along. How does the band feel about, does that add stress to, what are we gonna do next? Does that put any pressure on, just do what you gotta do, or?
I don't think it necessarily adds any pressure on what are we gonna do next. I think, we've been very happy at the results that have been achieved with this album. We charted number 7 in Billboard. That was new for us.
That's good.
Sirius XM put us on their top 6 list, which was primarily, the Monkees, Rolling Stones, Metallica, Leonard Cohen, people like that. And then here we are sitting there, amongst some pretty iconic names. So we were pretty shocked to see that.
Especially with the
And
Monkees.
then, of course, on a wide range of incredible reviews and feedback, people just really loved the album. I think it really helped to get it out a couple months in advance of the tour as well, so people had time to absorb it and really get into it. So when they show up, they know the lyrics, they know every beat, and every riff, and every break. So it's a lot of fun. I think people enjoy it more for that reason as well. You always enjoy something more when you show up and you actually know what the song's about. Yeah, so we've been very, very happy with that, and the audiences have been great, just to see the amount of love coming from the audience for the music. It's kind of different than any previous tour. I've never really seen it to this level, especially when we get to the end and that climactic theme at the end, and you look around and people are just like, and it's like, wow, it's very emotional. It's very powerful emotionally, and it's a great vibe. So we're just in the moment. We're enjoying it. We're not really worried about what's next or anything. We won't even deal with what's next until we get there. Then we'll approach it completely, fresh, without, we don't really think of having to follow this up. It'll just be another work that'll stand on its own merit.
What do you think about this has made it this different and popular?
Well, I think the songwriting is very different on this than it has been in the past. The songs are they're more song-oriented. They're not songs that are built around huge progressive rock constructs. They're actually really, fairly short, digestible songs that are just framed with a lot of, tapestry around them. But the songs stand alone as a shorter, more classic rock kind of songs and poppy kind of songs. And I think it's a lot more digestible, and it's probably going to have a much wider range of appeal to people who might not have been able to get into albums like Sola Scriptura, things that were really intense and heavy from one end to the other. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Just a lot more mainstream appeal.
Now, you already said that you weren't even thinking about the future. So with this album being just a small portion of Pilgrim's Progress, has there been any discussion of continuing the story?
No, probably not. It was sort of a whim that we even did this based on Pilgrim's Progress. To be sure, nobody had even read Pilgrim's Progress when we started into this. Neal had started to look at the Sparks notes based on suggestion from somebody about possibly writing a concept album based on it. And he started looking at it, and I don't know, it just seemed like it was an idea we tossed around at first, but the more we got into it, the more the music just seemed to lead right into that. But it's unlikely that we would do another album based on it. I don't really see why that would. It would be, I don't know, just anything's possible,
right, yeah.
I suppose. But usually when we go for an album, we try to think of something different, not just rehash something we've already done and say, well, there's more to the book. Why don't we dig some more of that out?
Because yeah, it probably wasn't so much about the book and the topic as it was just, like you said, the songwriting change. So you can try to copy that by doing the same book. Has doing that kind of caused anybody in the band to go ahead and read the book? Do you know?
Oh yeah, everybody's. Well, I haven't. I tried reading it. It's ridiculous. Neal's been reading it. I think Bill went and read it. But I mean, I'm vaguely familiar with the book. You know, I've seen it in annotated forms over the years. But it's not a book that I would have necessarily gravitated towards. I've always avoided it, mostly because I don't think that it's all that exciting. But Neal managed to really find ways to make it exciting. You know, the music is written the way we write our music. It's the lyrics that have everything to do with Pilgrim's Progress. So he was able to lyrically take it and make it exciting and interesting, which is probably the first time anybody's ever done that.
Yeah, I've read the book before. I mean, it was like one of the Christian bestsellers, I guess, for centuries.
Right.
Like they say, it's like number 2 to the Bible, basically. So,
Right.
but I know it's old. It's you know, from the old Puritan days. So, well, anyway, not a whole lot more. I want to check and see how things were going. So, how much longer are you all doing this tour before? I know that they're getting ready to jump back into more studio time, but how much longer is this leg of the tour?
This leg of the tour, we're here in Falls Church tonight, and tomorrow we're in Atlanta, Georgia, with another sold-out show, and then we head on to Tampa to board Cruise to the Edge.
Oh, yeah,
And we'll
the
do
cruise.
two separate performances on Cruise to the Edge, and then after that we're off for a little more than a month, and then we head to Europe for another 20 shows. Ending in Israel.
Hey, what?
Your phone overheated and turned off.
Okay, we're still recording this. Any new places overseas? I had somebody ask about, I guess one of the overseas people was asking, hey, last time they went to some different places, are they going to be going to any different places? Any other countries that you know of that you're getting into this time around that you have never been to or hadn't been to before? Or?
I don't think there's any countries that we haven't been to, at least in one form or another. Luxembourg will be a new country for the Neal Morse band, but all the other countries that we're in, we've been to. We'll go back to Poland. We've only been there once before. We're doing 4 shows in the UK, which is different because we usually go and do London sometimes, or Manchester, or something like that. But we've got 4 shows now, including one in Glasgow. So those are new areas for us.
Is that because the popularity required you, or are you just doing a couple more areas?
Well, when I booked the tour, I wanted to get as many shows as possible, you know, and fill out the schedule as much as possible. So we pushed to get as many shows as we could. That's why we're going back to Tel Aviv as well.
Is the popularity of the band more so over in foreign countries than you find here? Seems like they always, I mean, you look at stuff like Neal's former stuff like Transatlantic and stuff, they always seem to record overseas, it's always huge crowds. I just wondered, is it...
Well,
is
the
it
Neal
bigger?
Morse band is certainly as popular, if not the most popular of all the bands that those guys do together. It's got a very loyal crowd following. We have as many people that show up to see us as...
And so over there, it's really huge crowds too then?
Yeah.
More so
It
than-
just depends. You know, some areas are more,
Right.
you know, we have more people in some areas than we do in others. But I think the popularity is pretty well spread evenly over North and South America and Europe. The audiences are different.
Really?
That's what's different. It isn't so much that the popularity of the band is different, it's the audience's behavior that is very, very different. Like Americans will sit and watch you without saying a word, whereas South Americans will sing every word and every riff, and they'll sing the melodies with the music, and they'll stand and be going nuts the entire time, you know, all 700 of them. And same in Spain and Italy, they do the same thing. So South America, Mexico, Spain, and Italy are the most energetic and in many ways younger across the board.
Oh, really?
For instance, in Canada, you look at the audience, and they're all, over 50 or whatever. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them. There's a lot of older people in the crowds. Whereas you go to South America, and most of them are in their 20s and 30s.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's a whole.
And plus more, but, yeah, there's a much younger set of fans in other countries, for sure.
I'm just kind of curious why we can't pull together everybody in Virginia here and sell out around here. What's up with that? In this area, in DC.
Well, like anything, there's mainstream avenues by which you reach people. I think it'll be a good turnout tonight, though. So I think from what I've been told, we've got over 300, so it's not bad for an area like this.
And people are going to elbow out of the way to get on the stage.
I mean, I agree we should be played to 3,000, but, if somebody can tell me how to make that happen, I'll go to work on it, but, who knows? It's really hard to tell.
No, it's tough. I mean, you all are playing a style of music. I guess it's not a lot of radio airplay. Do you all, I mean, you said the Sirius radio stuff, but what mainstream radios? I mean, around here, we don't get anything like that. Do you get much radio airplay in other places?
No,
It's
we
all
don't
satellite?
because we don't really have a radio campaign going. What a record label does is they hire people to undertake the campaign. So when you see the reviews that you see and all the press that you see, there's a person that's been hired to make that happen. And they're very expensive and they're very good at what they do. If you want to be on the radio, there's another kind of person you hire to do that. And that's what they do. They get you playing on the radio. And we didn't really do that because we probably should have, but it's very expensive. And I don't know is that, it's kind of it's a chance that you take because it costs a great deal of money. So, but yeah, I suppose had we hired somebody to do a radio campaign, we might see some more airplay. But until we do that, I suppose we probably won't have a lot of radio airplay. But we've never had radio airplay.
And like you say, you have a loyal fan base. That
Right, exactly. And it isn't based on radio. Most of our fans don't listen to the radio anyway. So.
I understand the inner circle, the amount of people in the inner circles up there. So I mean, you got people that are supporting the whole stuff all along.
Yeah, it's mostly word of mouth. Somebody says, "Oh, you got to see these guys," and the friends get their other friends hooked on it, and before you know it, they're bringing them.
And I guess I read something Neal said recently online, or something, maybe it was in the recent Inner Circle thing, he was saying that the album sale continues. The albums are continuing to sell. They're not, sometimes it's a peak and then it comes, he said it's pretty consistent, I guess, so it's still kind of moving along, so that's good to hear. All right, we won't take any more of your time, I guess. Anything else you want to add or say, or?
Well, just that we appreciate all the fans that have been supporting us and coming out to the shows, and as long as they continue to want us to come and play, we're happy to do so.
I want you to come a little closer to Virginia Beach, but I'm satisfied. This is only 3.5 hours away.
We'll see what we can do.
Do you want to get pictures of you?